Okay, Mr. Archibald, want to react?
Yeah, I'd like to disagree with that. For the police to function well according to the current setting of security apparatus of Nigeria, the the minister has to be the supervisory entity. Is the one that will go to the Federal Executive Council to plead on behalf of the police on what they need. That was how it has always been. Even we consultants and analysts has a role to play in giving them independent advice on this. So I don't know what has been happening at the Fed. And myself and Mr. Alobi knew that over the past 2 years we've discussed on a personal level that there is need to fund the police. Why are the police not getting funding for training? I and you know that there is problem with funding for training, funding for equipment, and this is as a result of some bottleneck and administrative bottleneck and some sort of lack of coherence between both entities, that is the NPF and the Ministry of Interior. We cannot continue to shy away from this if we want to move forward. You just said it now that the army came here to make a plea about their equipment. Who has come to plead for the police in channels? And who has gone to the Federal Executive Council to plead for the police? There is a lot of needs. They need more money than they have now. And I don't think there is enough linkage between the NPF, Ministry of Interior, and the Federal Executive Council. And I think we are beginning to get a fallout of that. I don't expect Mr. Alobi to agree with me on this, but I strongly stand by my point. And I think if we want to move this country forward, if we want the police to restore civil authority to the Northeast, it's time we stop playing politics with people's lives and including the lives of police officers.
Let's see if he does agree with you. You might be surprised. Mr. Alobi, do you agree with his point? Says you and him, you both know something. Are you withholding that information?
I'm not withholding any information. I'm not withholding the information. The issue of underfunding, poor funding of the police is notorious fact in this country. And to solve that problem, that is why the National Assembly has come out with the bill on the police trust fund. And I think the National Assembly is going to be, that will be a milestone contribution to the funding of the police and strengthening the capacity of the police. So the funding has not only been the police, it affects other agencies, but that of the police actually have been a serious problem. I think the government is addressing that, National Assembly is addressing that, and the police leadership is also very concerned about that. We are all most of us are very concerned. I've said it repeatedly in this platform other fora that the police need to be funded, the police need to be equipped. Police the taproot of internal security. They must lead agency in internal security. Now we're having elections. Police is the lead agency in managing security election security of this country. They need to be funded to be given enablement in terms of equipment, in terms of capacity, in terms of training, in terms of their welfare. In fact, they need to be the policeman is very, 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 very precious to this country. Even the scripture says, he said, blessed are the peacemakers, should be called children of God. The policeman is very important to the well-being of this country. There is problem that's important in the Constitution. And you see in life, in a human being will treasure two important things, his life and his property. He who protects his life and property should be endeared to you. So I think the police should be taken care of. And I don't agree with him that there's a friction between the IG and the Minister of Interior. I think they are working together at that level. And there should no cause for that at all. What are they competing? The general is there, he's already as a minister. IG is already the minister. The IG is the peak of his career. What are they competing for? So, and I think again, the minister should be concerned about whatever agency that under his ministry, for sure that the men, they are being well equipped, they are being well funded, so they can perform optimally. Because when they perform optimally, the glory goes to him as a supervising minister. And when they don't do well, he also has a precarious liability. So I don't think the minister will go and sit down and don't see that fight for the police, or the IG will go and sit and don't see that things are not being given to the police. And the president himself should be concerned. Like he did say, like when he recently he approved the increase in salaries of the police. That's also that the government, Mr. President, is also concerned about the way for the police. But it should not only end with salaries. It should look at it should be holistically in terms of equipment, in terms of their accommodation, in terms terms of even their families, like those of us who are even retired, we are still contributing. The government should also consider our own welfare. I need to use a point to appeal to the government too. Thank you very much.
But Mr. Alobi, well, a good thing you're appealing now. But you know, I mean, we see the police every day, the PMF inclusive. We know the challenges that they complain about, their welfare, which you're appealing that they look into at the moment, how they tell us they buy their uniforms themselves, and several other matters, let alone the insurance. So, in all honesty, do you really think that the PMF is well equipped to be trained and deployed with the military in the Northeast?
You see, incidentally, I was in PMF as a constable. I was in PMF for 7 years. Mopo 9, we originated in Mopo 9 after the Civil War. And we even took part I took part in those of us who trained the Botswana Mobile Police Force, you know, in 1973 in Obalande. You see, the PMF has always been the striking force of the Nigerian police force. But if the government really want to have it, for them to perform optimally, it should be well equipped. Because now the police, the PMF perform both military function when they need arises and also police function
just a minute. Were they well equipped? Were they well equipped while you were there?
Of course, like I said, I was there for 7 years. We were well equipped. We're very well equipped. We're being given allowances. We're being given we're moving for operation. We're being given allowances. Our allowances are being paid regularly, and we're being given dry rations. We don't go out for any operation without being given dry rations. But now they don't give those rations any longer, and that is why these are the things that I look back with nostalgia. What was the PMF? PMF was a pride of Nigerian police force, the pride of the country, and that is what we call the flying cat. Because we're well trained, well equipped, and we're very, 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 very happy to do our job. In fact, let me say, when I was with PMF, if you give us bribe when we are doing patrol, we ask you to chew your money and make it to make fraud because we were contented, we're happy with our job, we've been given allowances, and we saw taking bribe as being debasing to our integrity, our calling as PMF men, which were supposed to be the pride of the force.
All right, let's speak about this next issue now. It's got to do with the IGP and whether or not his tenure should be extended for 6 months for the elections. What do you think about that?
When we talk about elongating or prolonging the tenure of any public official, what we need to really consider carefully is the ripple effect on the officers that are coming behind them. What does that do to other people's career? Everybody have a fair share of their age limit and years limit in service. I support the idea of compensating an officer who have performed excellently and exceedingly well in service. But we shouldn't do that by putting unnecessary and undue pressure on the career of other people that are supposed. If some officers are not going to, promotion are not going to be affected, if some officers are not going to be asked to leave the service as a result of that, I think it's all well and good.
Just hang on a minute. We'll come to you, Mr. Alobi, in just a moment. Stay with us. Welcome back, Mr. Alobi. Well, the thing is, look, if there are those who suggest that, or they say, look, it's a fact that if the president extends the tenure of the IGP, those who are waiting in the wings, who will clock 35 years in the force, who are supposed to be promoted, will not be. They'll get stuck, and at the end of the day, they may retire without being promoted, and that may cause bad blood. And then they say that the former IGP, Solomon Arase, performed creditably well. He wasn't given an extension. Would you support an extension of the IGP's tenure by 6 months by the president?
Yeah, you see, we need to apply wisdom whatever we do. And the act of wisdom here, what is wisdom? Wisdom is application of knowledge. When you apply knowledge, it becomes an act of wisdom. We know we are now in December, today is 28th of December 2018. By next few days, we'll enter into January. By February, we have our general elections. And that we know how critical this election is to our democracy, to our stability as a nation, and our well-being of every Nigerian. If at this critical moment, you change the leadership of the police force, the IG, I don't think it is an act of wisdom. For me, we think about national interest, not individual interest. National interest, for me, national interest supersedes individual interest. And now, if you bring a new IG now, within 3 months, within just a month period, he'll begin to think how to plan his strategy, operational strategies, how to study what is on ground, how to, So I think it is better for the interest of this country, it is better for the Nigerian police force, it is better for our forthcoming elections, for someone who has already understood the system was on ground to stabilize. Who already knows what the problem is.
Mr. Alobi, let me...
Someone who comes now, begin to think, and then starting how to organize, how to plan.
Let me ask you this, Mr. Alobi. Just a minute, we need to go soon. Well, if you say it's not wisdom to change, but in this same country, we've seen this happen several times. In fact, recently, Akwa Ibom State is complaining time and again, incessant changing of police commissioners. Rivers complains of the same thing. In fact, several other states that have held elections have been changed as well. So what then happens to the rule of law if the IGP tenure is extended?
It's about the rule of law. The rule of law is based on the process of act of doing things by complying with the act. You see, the issue like deployment of police officers, commissioners is based on need. Now there's a need for us to make sure that we have a fair, credible, and peaceful election to come 2019. And now we are going to just change an IG. An IG in that case will come in, a new IG comes in now, he's going to begin to make his plans, his strategies, operational strategies and so forth, to even understand the office where he's coming
so,
to occupy.
Are you suggesting
it's an act in terms of this country?
Is he the only one who can perfect that strategy in the entire police force?
No, not that it's the only one. The other citizen IG, DIGs and so forth. But what I'm saying is that right now is an IG there. And again, equity demands that equality, and now the other service chiefs have been given extensions. Then why should IG not be given extension? If what is fair to all concerned, we should be fair to all concerned.
All right, Mr. Alobi.
Equity is fairness.
We hear you, though.
And already the IGs...
all right, we need to go. By extension, your suggestion is that no commissioners of police, by extension, should also be changed if the IG is not going to go. Maybe that's what some may interpret it. But we thank you for coming on this morning, gentlemen. Mr. Latubosun Abolarin, security consultant, and Mr. Lawrence Olubi, former commissioner of police in FCT. Thank you both for coming on this morning. That's the show today. Thank you all for watching. We'll see you next year. Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yes, it will be.
Oh, no, I think that's still Monday. Let's not jump into this. Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Why not? Okay. See you next time. Goodbye.
The views and opinions expressed by guests on this program are those of the maker and do not reflect the views, opinions, and endorsement of Channels Television.